Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be looking at one of the decks that just came out. We're going to be looking at the Venomous Violet starter deck. I have managed to find the other two, so we'll be looking at those in a future video. But since we already opened up the pack for Venomous Violet, I thought this was a good spot to start out with. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the rules cards, because this might be minor to some people, but because we already have had a matte deck, the trackers have a symbol on it again for the little token that you can pop out. I don't do that, but that might be something to think about. Like, I really wish they would have put something else on there, because it is a different Digivolution than Middle Garurumon. They might have been able to play around with that somehow, and that would have been nice. Other than that, the rules cards are just the stock purple look. But yeah, that's a minor gripe that I have, but something to keep in mind. So first off, we've got the 4 Digi-Eggs, which this time around are Pagumon, whose inheritability is on deletion, trash the top 2 cards of your deck. I think 4 of them is too much in a deck, because you're talking about using these pretty much every other turn, because you'll flip one over and then you'll send it out the following turn, then you'll flip another one over and you'll send it out the following turn with a rookie over it. So all of the rookies will have this effect, which means if that Digimon gets deleted, you're out 8 cards of your deck. And to me, that could be like a major play neighbor. Like 2, maybe 4, I'd be fine with, but trashing 8 cards, that is too much for me. So I would definitely replace that. Now on to the rookies with our first, and for anyone that's watched my channel even a bit knows one of my favorites, 4 copies of Demidevimon. He is a vanilla with a 2 play cost, 1 Digivolution cost, and 4,000 DP. He'd be good for a rookie rush, or if you really want... Well, no, because he's got the 1 Digivolution cost, so he's not good for just getting up to a higher one, because it actually costs something, and that's because of his attack power. So for Rookie Rush, he's alright, because he's got that high attack power, so he'd be able to take out any rookies that come up in the security stack. But other than that, not too impressive for Demidevimon. Next up, there are 4 copies of Gabumon with a 3 play cost, 0 Digivolution cost, 2,000 DP, and he's got inheritable ability, which states, when attacking, trigger draw 1 card from your deck, then trash 1 card from your hand. And this goes back to Pagumon. 4 of these plus that, like if each one of these guys only attacks once, that is 12 cards, like if they all get deleted from your deck going. That is a little too much for me. Again, I would scale this one back, maybe 1 or 2 per deck. But yeah, other than that, not too incredible. Just your standard rookie with an effect. The next rookie we have, which is again at 4, is Dracomon. And he has no inherit effect, but he's got an on-play effect, which says you may return 1 purple option card with a memory cost of 1 or 7 from your trash to your hand. I believe this guy used to have a different effect, but they changed it to 1 or 7. It used to be, I think, any. I want to say I hadn't seen it before that, so I'm not entirely certain on that. It's got a play cost of 3, a Digivolution cost of 0, 2,000 DP. He is great for the starter deck because the only option cards you have are either 1 or 7. If you're building your own deck or if you're modifying this one, I would probably take him out because that on-play effect isn't very good in a custom deck unless you are building a deck with him in mind, where all your option cards are only level 1s or 7s. And the last rookie we have is another vanilla, and that is 4 copies of Elecmon with a 4 play cost, 0 evolution cost, and 5,000 DP. Again, I would probably go back to 2 on this one because he's got a good attack power. He can Digivolve for free, but his on-play cost is 4. That is on par with some champions, just for that extra added boost of attack. You could easily put down a rookie and then Digivolve it into a champion for a similar cost. Well, Digivolve from a baby to a rookie to a champion for the same cost. As is, I feel he's a little too expensive. And then we got our first champion, which is Black Garurumon, who has 4 play cost, 2 Digivolution cost, 4,000 DP, and he's got an inherent effect of when attacking, draw 1 card from your hand, then trash 1 card from your hand. Again, there's too much of that in this structure deck for my liking. You're probably going to hear that a lot. But again, like, you have the Pagumon down, you play the Gabumon on it, you play the Garurumon on it, you have it Digivolve into something else. Every single time you're attacking, you are drawing 2 cards and discarding 2 cards from your hand. And then when he gets destroyed, you're discarding another 2. So again, with all of them, if all their effects activate just once, that is so far 16 cards in your deck. That is about a quarter, more than a quarter of your deck being discarded due to card effects. And so there's a good chance one of them will be one of your playmakers that you need, that, as far as I can remember, in this structure deck doesn't have a way to get it back, except for the Dracomon and the option cards. Next up, we got another vanilla. This one being Yokomon. It is a 5 play cost, 2 Digivolution cost, 6,000 DP. And so, like this one, going back to the Elecmon, you Digivolve Elecmon from a Pagumon, then this one on top, and it is the same price as if you had just played the Elecmon. And for 1 more, you get an extra 1,000 DP, just straight off. So if you play Elecmon directly, that's 4 DP. This one's 5 for the extra 1,000. It's a good, like, cheap champion, but going back to that Elecmon, I don't think it's worth it. Something I like is inheritable effects, because I like planning on playing things over top. So I'm not a big fan of vanillas. I understand there are spots in the deck for them. I'm just not crazy about it. Next up, we have 2 copies of Devimon, who's got on play of 6, a Digivolution cost of 1, 5,000 DP, and he's got an active effect of blocker, and when attacking, you lose 2 memory. So your standard blocker, I believe the other one that came out in the packs, he's like 1,000 shy, but he costs 2 to Digivolve. The 1 in this one makes me like it more, because more often than not, you're not planning for your blockers to survive. You're planning on them being there to slow down your opponent. So the extra DP isn't really a deal breaker for me on this one. So this is one that I probably actually would play, and I might swap him into my purple deck, just because I don't expect my blockers to live. I expect them to be played and go against like a War Greymon or something, just to buy me that extra time to help me ramp up or get rid of that guy. So this one, he's a very good card in my opinion. I would definitely throw him into a deck. Next up, we have another champion vanilla. with, I think that's Kimon. He has 6 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 9,000 DP, and you get 4 copies of him. Again, he's kind of expensive at 3 Digivolution and 6 to on play, but he's got that beefy body of 9,000. I again would go 2, maybe 3 on this one in a deck. 4 seems a bit much, but if he's like shown up on a security stack, he could definitely take out most champions, no problem. Maybe even some ultimates. But yeah, or is this is an ultimate, isn't it? Yes, we're into the ultimates now. Ha, that's my mistake. So he is an ultimate. So that changes it. He's an average ultimate. I would say an on play for 3 to with a 6 play cost. That's fine. This is a fine vanilla then. I was thinking he was champion for some reason. So we're on the ultimates now. Next up, we have 4 copies of Skull Satanamon. He's got 6 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 7,000 DP, and he has the effect, when Digivolving, you may return 1 purple Digimon card from your trash to your hand. So in this deck, he's definitely needed at 4, because as we've gone over, you're throwing away a lot of cards from your deck to the graveyard. So he's great. I wouldn't reduce him in this deck because of that. I still think there's too much trashing of cards in this deck for my liking. There have been too many games where I'm forced to discard cards, and I end up throwing away something that I really need. So the next ultimate we have is the 2 copies of Wergarurumon with the gold border. And he's got 7 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 7,000 DP, and he's got the inherited effect of while there are 4 more cards in your trash, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. Great for the deck with all the discard. Again, I think there's too much discard because as we've gone over, there's just a lot of it in the deck. I think you could easily get to 5 with your opponent trashing your stuff and between regular gameplay. I think by the time you come across one of these, you will have enough cards in your trash. So I don't think that it's necessary for all of that discarding in the deck. And our final ultimate is 2 copies of Venomous. And his effect states, he's got 10 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 11,000 DP. Now his on-play effect is when Digivolving, up to 2 of your Digimon gain Retaliate. When this Digimon is deleted after losing a battle, delete the Digimon it was battling until the end of your opponent's next turn. This is a great ability because your opponent could be using a War Greymon again. That's the easiest high-powered Mega that I can think of. And they could attack. That one could be suspended. You could Digivolve into this guy for 3 and then give it to Elecmon, the Retaliate ability, have him attack into the War Greymon, and because he was deleted in battle, the War Greymon gets deleted as well. So a very interesting effect. Very useful, and it definitely gives some life to the... I believe Arukenimon worked with Venomiotismon? So that does give that some relevance. I definitely like this guy. I definitely think he's worthwhile in the deck, because he helps change up some plans and get rid of some playmakers of your opponent, which, if there's anything more important than how your deck works, it's messing up your opponent and how they work. Because it doesn't matter how well yours is if they can just steamroll over it and disrupt yours. So the final megas that we have are 2 Crescarurumon, who have 12 on-play cost, 4 Digivolution cost, 1,200 DP, or no, 12,000. Woof, numbers today. With the effects, he has a security attack +1, so every single time he attacks, he goes through 2 of the cards. And he's got the new Digiburst ability, which trash 2 cards from underneath this Digimon's Digivolution to activate the effect. Play 1 purple level 3 card from your trash without paying its memory cost. So because it says underneath, I'm guessing you could choose any of them, which means you could trash the Pagumons from underneath, which would stop their deletion effects, which is a great way to help combat all the card loss you're going to do, but at the same time, you have to make it up to that mega. And I don't think that there's enough in the deck for it. I do like the Digiburst effect. I haven't played it yet, and I'm not crazy about losing resources or cards underneath. If you're playing versus the blue deck, I would say these are great. Like, if there was a sideboard in Digimon, I would definitely put this guy in a sideboard, because if my opponent's already taking out all of my cards underneath my Digimon, why not do it myself and get some abilities off? That's all the Digimon. So now on to the Tamer cards, which we have 4, and they are 4 copies of Matt, with the ability that, well, it's got 2 play cost, and the ability, when one of your Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory. This is a good Tamer. I would probably play it at 2 and bring in the other Matt that gives you 3 memory if you start with less than 3 memory on your turn. Just because those are extremely good, in my opinion. The way you can help yourself. Because it makes your opponent have to think more. Because normally when you're playing, you want to give your opponent as little memory as possible. If you've got that 3 memory out, then that opens their moves up a bit. But it also makes it harder for them, because people build their decks with the ideas of like, all right, how little memory can I give my opponent? And it's got the security effect of play this card without paying its memory cost. Again, this is fine. I would probably reduce it to 2 and put in 2 of the other mats. And now we're on to the option cards. And like I said before, there's only cost 1 and cost 7 to go along with the Dracomon. So starting with 4 copies of Deathclaw. Play cost 1. You may delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, with the security effect of delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. I don't think that there's enough way to regain resources. Like, yes, you get to delete any one of your Digimon, but most of them are going to have Pagumon under it just out of the gate with this deck. That means that you will delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponent's champion or lower Digimon, and then you also have to discard the top 2 cards of your deck, or trash them. That is a steep cost, again, for this deck. I think it's a fine card outside of this deck. I don't think that I would play it at 4 in the deck. And then the final card in the deck is Nailbone, which has a cost of 7. And its main effect is you may play 1 purple level 3 Digimon and 1 purple level 4 Digimon card from your trash without paying their memory costs. Any on-play effects of the Digimon played with this effect don't activate. And then it has the security effect of you get to play 1 purple level 4 Digimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. Any on-play effects do not activate. This is a good card. I like it. It's costly at 7, but being able to bring back Digimon you may need, plus 2 of them, a 3 and 4, that'd be good for a Rookie Rush, which I hear purple is good at. I do think there are better level 7 or cost 7 cards than Nailbone. But in this deck where you're trashing so much, this is useful. Again, you would probably end up trashing this card along with everything else. So there is all the cards in the Venom Violet starter deck. With the interesting fact that I've already built the purple deck, which I've shown off before. I've done some minor modifications since then, like I've put in done Devimon that we pulled. So the question I want to ask is, if you have been collecting as much as I have, is the Venom Violet starter deck necessary? If you can find one in the wild, or if you have enough purple cards, which one should you go for? Should you build your own, or should you get the starter deck? So in the starter deck, I think there are a couple really good cards in there. Again, going to the Devimon, which he's very cheap to Digivolve to. I think he's a good one. I think that the Skull Satanomon is also a nice one, because you just get to choose any purple Digimon and bring it back. So that allows you, like, if you did accidentally discard your Crescarumon, or if that one got deleted by battle, you could bring them back. I think there are some good cards in there. That said, I think that there are just so many more better cards in the booster packs, which I understand that's probably how starter decks are made to be played. But I think that you can build a perfectly good purple starter deck from just the first two, like the 1.0 and the 1.5. That said, would I consider it a good purchase? If you can find it out in the wilds for its price of $10, I would definitely pick it up. If you have to pay scalpers, I would not, especially if those scalpers have taken out the booster pack. To me, that makes up a lot more of the price than the decks themselves. So, final thoughts, pick it up if you can find it at cost. If you can't, give it a pass. It's not amazing. It's what a booster deck or a starter deck is meant to be, which is to help you get started in the game. I think you're fine with one. I don't think you have to buy two. Some starter decks have really good cards that you need more copies, and you need to buy multiple decks to get everything. Like, I'm an old school gamer. Legend of Blue Eyes, Yu-Gi-Oh! You definitely want to buy multiple decks of Seto Kaibas to get multiple Dragon Flutes and Lord of Dragons to bring everything out super fast. I don't think anything really caught my eye in this deck that makes me think that you should buy more than one, if any. But what are your thoughts about it? Do you think this deck is great? Would you pick this up? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to do the unboxings of the other two coming up. We're going to go from 6 to 5 to 4. So Machine Black will be next. Because I've also made a black deck, so I can kind of see where they were going versus what I did. But until then, I will see you next time.